Good good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Azure and .NET Fridays. I hope everyone is enjoying that Friday evening, and it's the weekend. Hey, what can we say? It's been a while since we've been back on the show for Azure and .NET Friday, and today we'll be following up or building up from the previous episode that we did, which was an introduction to MVC, .NET Core, and .NET Framework. But today we'll be mostly focusing on .NET Core because that's the way and it's the future. And alongside with me today on the show is my good friend, my whole my good friend, my tech buddy. I don't know how to we just like I don't know if you enjoyed last week's episode. Also, there's a lot of good vibes around. So I'm just going to introduce him onto the show. Welcome, Tori.
Hey, welcome, guys. How are you? We're back again. Wow, I can't believe it's Friday already. Time flies. Time really flies.
Hey, how's everything going, bro?
So, we've been hanging in there, coding every day, nothing much.
Mm,
The
awesome.
dev life. You know what's going on. You know how these things go. Learning new tech
It's
stacks, still, still,
it's
still struggling with front end. Nothing new.
it's the same thing. Wake up, sleep, code. Wake up, sleep, code. The dev life.
Yeah, it's just a developer in a loop. You just sleep code eats. That's just where it's at. That's just where it's at right now.
Awesome.
With
So
COVID
what do you
going
have in
on,
store for today?
you know. So, guys, I'm not sure if you remember from last week. Last week we carried on with the application because right here we finished things. We don't start things and just throw them away. We finish things. We carry on with our calculator app. Last week we did it with .NET Framework, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because previously it was on .NET Core, and then we're just trying to show you guys the difference between it being done on Framework and Core. So today we're continuing on the Core because Core is like the future. Narcisse did say you don't want to go back to the old days. You don't want to go back to 1969 and learn what your grandpa learns, right? So you just diving in with the future. So we're just gonna carry on with .NET Core, but today we're just gonna add. We're just gonna keep adding things bits by bits. We're beginners here, we're beginners here.
Mm.
We just make baby step in everyone so that everyone can understand what's going on. If you're falling behind, if you watched the first episode, I highly suggest you go back and watch that episode so that you catch up on what's going on. So today we're basically gonna work on something called data annotations. So I'm pretty sure what you're probably asking yourself, what is data annotations? I've never heard that word. So data annotations is basically a fancy way of saying validation. So we want our calculator to validate a few things. I'll put certain sets of validation rules. Whether it's so basically to put this into retrospect, when you fill in a form, right? When you fill in a form online, and then you leave some fields unfilled, you just leave them as blank, and then you try to press submit, and then the page refreshes and throws you back to that field that you didn't actually fill in, and then there's an error message on the side at the bottom of the text box telling you, hey, you cannot leave this field blank. Or sometimes even numbers, the number cannot be less than this. Or sometimes even an email validation, hey, saying, hey, this is not a valid email. Basically gonna do that. We have to make sure that our calculator does take in numbers. We don't want people just pressing the button, calculator, and expecting an answer, but then didn't really put anything. All right, so we're just gonna add that. And then I'm just gonna deploy this app. We're just gonna jump into this word called deploy and put it out there on the server. I'm gonna get into that later on, but don't worry. But it's pretty much all we have to do, and then other stuff will just come along the way. So yeah,
Awesome.
I hope you
It
guys are
looks pretty
excited as we are.
exciting. Looks
Yeah.
pretty
So
exciting.
without any further ado, let me just share my screen. Let me just share my screen and then just jump right into Visual Studio. I already have my projects open. Let me know my screen is sharing. I think it's sharing.
It's
It's
loading.
sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my projects. Okay, let me remove this comment. Let me just type in hello friends. Just my comments. Just making sure everything is all nice and clean. So I picked up from where we left off last time. Our project is one class or should I say model, which is a numbers model, which takes into parameters, number 1 and number 2, and there's a method that adds up these 2 numbers, and then it also has a controller that handles all the heavy lifting. It's called add controller, and then there's the action method for that. And it literally just passes in all the data from the model to the controller to the view. Because remember what I told you guys, the controller is the guy in the middle. It just takes data from the view, pushes it back to the model to perform some stuff. Could be calculations, could be stored in a database, and then spits it back to the view. So the controller is like the main guy. You have to be friends with the controller. That's your friend if you want stuff done, right? So what we're gonna do first, let me run the application and show you how it looks like, and then how it's gonna look like after we do the data annotations, right? So I like running my applications on the terminal. I don't know why. I just like the terminal. So if you're wondering how I'm gonna run my application on the terminal, I'm just gonna show you that. Yes.
There's different ways of doing things, hey?
Yeah, there's different ways. So instead of running a good old-fashioned green button here, I just like running on the terminal. So I have my terminal opened here, and then I have to cd to the directory. So I'm gonna come to the solution and copy full path, and then go to my Solutions Explorer, cd, code this into strings, paste it, and then remove it until the project's name. And go towards the end and remove the C drive name, and then cd into it. And then I'm just gonna type in .NET run. Because remember, .NET runs everywhere. I'm gonna type .NET run. And then you're just gonna wait for it. It's gonna build and run our projects. Just like how you guys run your projects on VS Code in the terminal. Right, the front end people. So my project is serving on localhost 5001. So I'm just gonna click that, and then it should all pop up on my browser. Simple calculator. Let's just add 10. Let's just add 10. Let's just add 10 plus 3, and then we get 13. There it is, 13 here. Simple calculator. But then now what happens? What happens if our user didn't put anything here, and then you just press calculate? Right. So sure, the answer is gonna be 0, but then some people won't really notice that they never put anything. They'll just say the application has problems, it didn't give me what I wanted, but then only to find they forgot to put something here. We cannot allow people to continue and press the calculate button without anything on the text boxes. So we're gonna add some validation tags. Do we call them tags? Of course, there's a proper name we call them, but I just like calling them. Yeah.
Which tags exactly?
I think we call them tags, but then I'm just gonna add my validation code. Forgotten the name. I'll remember the name along the way. I just don't want to confuse you. I'll just add my validation tags, and then those tags are gonna validate if this. I'm gonna check if these fields are empty, and then if they're empty, they should display a message. Like underneath here, they're gonna display a message here. Saying, hey, you cannot leave these empty, right? So we're gonna do that right now. So we're gonna go back to our Visual Studio. Actually, let me stop my application from running. Control C, stop it from running. Let me clean this up. Let me minimize. Go back to our Visual Studio.
Your application user friendly.
Yeah, it makes my application, exactly. I like the fact that you mentioned it. It makes my application user friendly, so that anyone can see what they did and what they didn't do. It pretty much keeps track of everything. So I'm gonna go to my model, or should I say class, to my 2 properties. I'm gonna make them required. Right, so I'm gonna make them required. Let me remove this so you'll see everything. So I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna come here and make this property a required field. Make it a required field. If you check, this required field is underlined in red. It's because I haven't called it a namespace. Remember, I said we're doing data annotations, so I must call a namespace called data annotations. So I'm gonna control dots, and then here's suggestions, and I right click here, and then changes color. Look here. Data annotations popped up. There it is here. right? And then I'm gonna go edit again on the second property. Make this property also a required field. That's required here. Make this property a required field. And yeah, this should work, but there's nothing custom about it. So you're probably wondering what message is going to show up after my properties are made required. How will my application know what message I want being displayed if these properties are not filled? Right. So I'm going to go to my view, which is called a display view. I'm going to go to my view and go to those properties that I want being validated and checked if they're filled. Right. Since I put the required, I'm pretty much saying, hey, these properties need to be filled. Hence the word required. I could have put some other validation tags like string length. I'm going to test that out after this. I just want to show you the required ones. I will also put string length, right? So I'm going to put these. I'm going to put it here. I already have the code on my clipboard, so I should be able to paste. Okay, no, I don't have it. It's validation message 4. So I'm just going to do that. It's HTML, razor syntax, to validation message 4. And then put in my lambda expression, and then specify on which property, which is number 1. Oh, actually, I forgot to put in to actually call in the objects. It's number 1. Number 1. And then I think there's double quotes here, and then new, and after that, I'm just trying to remember this. Okay, remember it. So there's new, and then we put these curly braces. I'll just remove this. Now we're setting our validation message. I have to put these curly braces, and then we call in the class. In the class, I'll explain this code after I'm done coding, so that you know exactly what it is. So, right. So I put a class here.
So basically, everyone who's watching right now, what Tori is trying to show